5 after 8 Central African time. Hello, Sunny Ponani. Welcome to the Miami International Circuit. Welcome to race number 15 of this BrakeAway Racing League All-Stars Showcase and Season. Thank you for choosing BrakeAway Racing League as your league of choice here tonight. We will soon get underway and get going and get a sense of just who can stake their claim on creating even more of an advantage as far as the championship is concerned. As things currently stand, it is still Duke versus Mex in the fight for the ultimate crown in the championship. However, Duke has a significant margin, 247 points. Duke leading the standings as it is a very, very rainy day out here in Miami. Duke leads with 247 points. Mex is second, 215 points. Sage Figure of Speech currently third at 170 points for them. Debo Crocodile is fourth, 131 points for them. Tiago is fifth with triple 111 points. And then we have Loveness currently in sixth place on 101. Caboza is seventh, Zotal eighth, Donovan Laka ninth, and Billy Hendricks rounds off the top 10 in this championship standing. And Fundo is currently 11th, Man Ray is 12th, Fence 13th, Marshy 14th, The Nucho, the 86er, and Quali currently operating those spots from P15 to 17 in the championship standings. Only 14 contenders represented out here today in this qualifying session as things currently stand. We'll get a proper sense of just how that will look when all is said and done. It is heavy rain, which I'm sure these drivers might not have legislated for, but they are professionals in a sense. They have to make do with conditions as they currently are. The first driver to come out onto the track is Donovan Laka on the full wet compound set of tires. Looks like one of the McLarens is out. That would be Duke. It seems Thiago Maestro is not represented in this race as things currently stand. We'll keep an eye on Donovan Laka then to see how they fare in this showcase with about 16 minutes of this session to go. A total of 18 minutes in this qualifying session. Do not forget, we now have a total of 4 drivers out on circuit making their way out to see how this qualifying session will proceed. It seems we might just have been joined in the commentary box by none other than Kid K. Hello there. Perhaps not in the mood to be speaking is Kid K. So we'll get back on to the business of the day. Thank you for joining us. Remember to like the stream and subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. It's Donovan Laka who will be the first to set a representative time out here in Miami. This 5.4 kilometer circuit was first unveiled back in 2022. It's a super fast street circuit. Not quite as fast as Saudi Arabia, but I'll tell you what, it does have its fair share of overtaking opportunities, which does make for some fantastic viewing. With 15 minutes of the session to go, Donovan Laka will be the first to set a representative lap. We're off the board with Williams Superstar, now making their way into turn number 1. Another overtaking, well, the first overtaking opportunity in the lap once we get racing underway. But that is some ways away here as we look to see how much grip Donovan Laka might manage to eke out in these treacherous conditions. Of course, having to play it very, very carefully. And this session will give us a sense of just who might be comfortable in such conditions. Some of you older, or rather some of you longer-term viewers of BrakeAway Racing League will know that the likes of Loveness do enjoy an odd wet race from time to time, as Donovan Laka's first sector was in the 37-second mark. We'll get a sense of just how they fare completing the middle sector. Now into the braking zone, another opportunity here. The end of the fast corners. And now we'll slalom his way through some of these slow parts of the track, including, of course, this chicane lines the curb. But was very, very careful not to gets tripped up at all. There goes Donathan Laka, Sector 2 time, 114.629. Behind Donathan Laka is the championship leading Duke, who will be among the first to set a representative time. It seems that the Ferrari duo is also out on track, but Billy Hendricks is the one that's pushing. Here comes Donathan Laka now in towards the final corner. It will be the benchmark for the entirety of the field. What can Donathan Laka do? The answer is punch it towards the line, and it's going to be a 143.298. Where is Duke in response? Looks like it's going to be good. It is 140.800 is the new benchmark, the new fastest time of the night. The first two times to come trickling in, where are the Ferraris? Billy Hendricks is going to be next with a representative effort. They go second fastest, relegating Donathan Laka down to P3. It seems one of the Mercedes is in the pit, the other is on the verge. Tindo sadly had invalidated. That lap will not count. So where is Nquali is the question. Here they come now towards the line. Nquali representing Kick Sauber, fourth quickest time of the day. Behind them is Debo Crocodile, distant cousin of Debo Alligator, possibly Debo Cayman, within touching distance of Duke Sakar with that 140.900. Of course, in such track conditions, a very, very wet track, do not be surprised to see these drivers loaded up for a succession of fast runs. So these first times that we're seeing are, of course, nowhere near the final benchmarks that we're going to see. It's quite likely that these drivers are going for successive push laps, as Fensei has also set a time, 141.8. Marshy currently 5th. Billy Hendricks now nudged to 6th fastest, relegating Donathan Laka to 7th. And Fundo has crossed the line with the 8th quickest time of the day, and Quali 9th, and now Zotal is 10th. Let's hop on over up to Duke to see how they're faring now. And Don Ravico says Duke must not get too comfortable occupying that top spot as far as the current standings are concerned. Don Ravico, a former champion of the top tier of BrakeAway Racing League, as we now catch up with Duke to see how much further, if any further, they can lower the benchmark. Debo Crocodile is some ways behind. We'll catch up with them. This is, of course, Duke's second push lap. Another bite of the cherry, trying to eke out even more time as they now send it towards the braking zone here, trying to eke out whatever semblance of grip. A grip that has a massive, massive premium at this point in time, with the rain having fallen and, of course, everyone having switched on to the full wet compound of tires. 140.800 is the quickest time of the day. Stage figure of speech has taken a leap over Debo Crocodile, 140.886 for the Ferrari superstar. Here comes Duke's middle sector now. We'll see whether or not they can eke out a little bit of an advantage. So everybody bar Mex and the 86 are yet to set a time. Mex, Moteo Mekwa, is here, perhaps surprised to see the conditions out here on this treacherous circuit. Let's see whether Duke, now towards the end of the second sector, can eke out an advantage. The answer is yes. Duke has found about a second and a half worth of improvement come the end of the middle sector. It's going to be a scorching effort by the McLaren superstar. What can the rest of the field do? It's successive push laps for Duke. Now looking to lower the benchmark, as he had a huge moment there, huge correction as Mex on their first push lap sets a 39.292. I'll tell you what, Duke is about to light it up in response, but can they? No, they can't go tops at this moment. It's a 139.584, and how about that? Having joined the fray a little bit later on, it is Mex all the way up to the top of the standings. How about that for the driver currently P2 in the championship standings? Let me see. Wait, is in the comment section. Don Ravico is here. Now it's Jittery Cursor asking what in the heck is going on as far as this inclement weather is concerned. Yeah, it is raining, pouring out here in Miami, but yeah, we still have an interesting quality session, or the rest of it, in prospect. Now, we are watching Sage Figure of Speech, who has been the picture of consistency here since the start of this season. A regular feature as far as the podium finishes are concerned. Now looking to find a little bit of a margin, but sadly, come the end of that first sector, we're down by about half a second. Looking for more margin, looking for improvement is a switch figure of speech. A lot of work to do, as Duke is currently in a fight of their lives. That huge moment that we saw, that mistake from Duke down at the end of this back straight, definitely what cost them. Yeah, sadly, switch figure of speech invalidated as Debo Crocodile now makes their way down towards the braking zone of turn number 11. We'll loop right hand. This is 12. And of course, we'll come into the chicane, which represents turns 14 and 15. Yeah, Debo Crocodile cutting corners, trying to find a little bit of advantage. Here comes Donovan Laka. They found a whole heap of time, and they've leapt up to P5 at the end of their most recent push lap. Donovan Laka, work to do, but they've found that improvement. Now, we're going to watch a Kaboza roaring down the back straight with about 7 minutes, 40 odd seconds to go in this session. Their teammate tops the timing tower, tops the prospective qualifiers, and now Kaboza looks to make their presence felt, hopefully to eke an inch closer and closer to their teammate. I'll tell you what, it's not a bad lap here from Kaboza. Now, coming towards the line, they find improvement, 140.160, good enough for P5 for the V-Carb Superstar. Donovan Laka on a... Yeah, and Quality's coming all the way back. Meanwhile, Zotal, making their way down the back straight, has found more than half a second on the end of that middle sector. It's going to need a whole lot more if he's going to challenge the drivers that are currently occupying those top 5 spots. Zotal for Team Haas with 7 minutes of the session to go. Let's see what they can conjure up for Team Haas. Zotal, as you can see, the dry line being manufactured, if you will, by these cars. Zotal takes a little bit of a hop and a skip, but only up to P8. 8th fastest for Zotal. Don Ravico says, well, you know what? I'm impressed by Duke's consistency and performance. They've definitely become a better driver, but will it be enough against Don Ravico? Asks the former champion of the top tier. Rhetorical question. Stay tuned on the next episode of Dragon Ball Z. Well, in response, I'll tell you what, Duke, still on the same set of full wet tires, has eked out a 1 minute 39.699, while 4 drivers in total have now opted for a set of medium compound tires, looking to find a little bit of a margin. As you can see, the rain has definitely eased and the dry line is more defined at this particular point in time. The more laps they do, the more, well, I wouldn't call it a dry line per se, but the racing line means that these drivers have pretty much banished most of the standing water, and the track will get kinder and kinder as Duke has lowered the benchmark here. Let's catch up with one of the drivers currently on a push lap on those intermediates, but sadly it seems Billy Hendricks not quite finding the margins that they would like. Intermediate tires, was it too early for these drivers to switch to the intermediates, or is it a stroke of genius? Time will tell. 6 figure of speech. Billy's teammate has also fitted a new set of intermediate tires as things currently stand. And Quali was on an out lap, also fresh inters. And it seems Tindo is on a push lap, currently mired down in P15. This seems to be a build lap that Billy Hendricks is putting together, and we would soon see them go for an almighty push as the McLaren in the hands of Duke seems to be making its way back into the pits. On board we go with Billy Hendricks. Let's see how much of an advantage they can find. Seem to nail that braking point into turn 1. Tentative through the second corner, and careful, really easing, nursing that throttle through that third corner. Seems to have found a decent margin of comfort as Billy Hendricks. Long looping left-hander, which constitutes turn 7. Going to be the kink now of 8 as he floors that throttle pedal. all the way into the braking zone of turn number 11, coming up for Billy Hendricks. Not too wide of the apex there, so it's fine. A little bit of a margin is Billy Hendricks here, but will it be enough come the end of the lap to find themselves leapfrogging some of these contenders and inching closer and closer to their teammates? The answer is yes. Billy Hendricks has found a second and a half come the end of the middle sector. Now needs to nail this braking point to take full advantage. It's Billy Hendricks into the hard braking zone of turn number 17. Still valid, still going, still tentative on the throttle. It's Billy Hendricks challenging the top runners. It's Billy Hendricks up to P2, and that is your answer. If the question is, are the Inters the tires to be on? Billy Hendricks with a superb effort. Debo Crocodile, just because of the Debo Alligator, is back in the pits. Meanwhile, it seems Fence might just be too far away. Still on those full wet compound of tires is Fence fighting the car there through the penultimate corner, but they found something up to P4 for the Red Bull Superstar. Where is Tindo? The answer is finding almost 9/10 of a second on board with the experienced campaigner who might have gotten a bit acquainted with the wall there in the exit of, I think that was turn number 16, now sending it screaming towards the heavy braking zone. The upcoming left-hander of 17, Tindo, is being tailed by the Haas. Could be Marshy, definitely is Marshy seemingly, or was it Zotal? We're going to confirm that in a second. It's Tindo looking to find something, mired in P14 as things currently stand, and they jump up to 10th spot. Duke is still the benchmark, as Nkwali has had an all-timer of a showing here on those intermediates. Nkwali is currently in P2 as the clock is running down. The Kick Sauber Superstar finds some margin, finds themselves in the 139.001, and what a absolutely sensational performance that would be if Nkwali can hang on there, as some of these contenders are giving it a huge go over here. Billy Hendricks now quite on a push lap. The contending mechs is here to stake their claim as Kapoza, their teammate, comes across the line with a 37.340. I'll tell you what, Duke has less than 55 seconds to stake their claim here. It is oh so treacherous. If you're not out on track, you are missing out, because the opportunity to really stake your claim on an amazing lap is now or never. Cheering from the paddock, says the Nucho, aka Peace, in the comment section. Kapoza, currently quickest by some margin, 37.340, nothing to be scoffed at. Duke has made it across the line, and Max has come across the line. Finally, still on those full wet tires. Will they come to regret it when all is said and done? We'll catch up with the end of Duke's lap, as we now going to see just how much more of a margin some of these contenders can find. Zotal goes up to P3, having just crossed the line. Duke's car is seeing these times tumble, is seeing the pressure pile up. Here comes Mex now, only making the way through the towards the end of the middle sector. I beg your pardon, Donathan Laka. Where is Fence? Are they further on? The answer is no, not quite. Sage Figure of Speech is much further on in their lap, so I'm going to stay with them to see how they will end this push towards the end of this qualifying session. It is also treacherous here, finding the time at the death. Man Ray is towards the top, but Sage Figure of Speech goes P1, relegating Kapoza down to that P2 spot. Who is going to be next across the line? It might be Donathan Laka. But will they have found enough come the end of this session? They're on a set of intermediates. It's only P3. The best that they could do. Man Ray is now fourth. Where is Max? The answer is on not quite on a push lap. So we're going to catch up instead. With the next person to come across the line. Is it Debo? Is it Fence? No, it is not. It was Fensei, but 10th is the best that they could do up until this point. Where is Duke? The answer is 35.471. Duke goes quickest again by a huge margin, and with that line having dried up significantly relative to the start of this qualifying session, Duke finds some magic and sprinkled some stardust on that timing tower. Beautifully done by Duke once again. Bit of movement again. Zotal is currently P7, the 86er goes up to P8, and Fundo, currently 9th, and Quali, who lit up the timing towers earlier, only good enough for P11. And Debo Crocodile has found something across the line. They go P2, and they will start on the front row next to the championship leading Duke with a 36.470. Debo Crocodile, distant cousin of Debo Alligator, will start in second place. Where is Tindo? The answer is still pushing. Not pushing. They found a final time of 140.793. So Duke and Debo, the front row occupants at the start of the Miami Grand Prix. Duke has left the session. They better rejoin before it's too late. Stitch Fig and Caboza occupy that second row, P3 and 4. Donathan Laka will start 5th. Man Ray 6th. Mex will start in P7 alongside Zotal. The 86er and Mfundo make up that 5th row, P9 and 10 respectively. Good day for the 86er, who has struggled through qualifying for most of this season, as we will now get a sense of just how well these superstars performed towards the death. Timing was absolutely critical, as you saw. Look at that margin. Almost a full second between P1 and 2. In these treacherous conditions, it is beautifully done by the superstar Duke. Meanwhile, in P11 in Quali, Billy Hendricks will start 12th, Fensei 13th, Marshy 14th. Tindo will start this race at the back of the pack, P15 for them. How about that for a qualifying session? I'll tell you what, like the stream and subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. I'd love to hear your thoughts based on that about who will come out trumps, who will come out tops when all is said and done in this here session. The Nucho says Tindo must take care of that car, my Mercedes. And would you look at that? Clear blue skies, seemingly, for the start of the race. I do wonder if these drivers have a forecast of clear weather throughout the entirety of the race, or if it'll be a case of mixed conditions. Time will tell around this Miami street circuit. Definitely one of the faster street circuits on the calendar. So sit tight, folks. The race is coming up. Welcome to the Miami International Circuit, folks. It is Duke and Debo in those top two spots. The race is coming up shortly. And here we are in Miami. It is 4 lights. It is 5 lights. It's the only time South Africa's the 4th to the lights going out. Duke is gone, giving Debo a golden opportunity here to take full advantage. Let's see now how it goes into turn number 1. It is Debo from Sage Figure of Speech as the ghost of Duke tumbles down the order. Donathan Laka up to P4. It seems that everyone has pretty much maintained position, getting just the one place as the ghost of Duke tumbles down the order. Debo Crocodile slaloming now through these fast corners, trying not to lose any sort of momentum. Sage Figure of Speech trying to keep Caboza at bay. Donathan Laka trying to fend off Man Ray in these early stages of this race. Not too much in the way of movement, with the exception of Marshy, who has gained 5 places since the start of this race. Beautifully done. Billy Hendricks up to as the 86er, also one of those net gainers in the early stages of this race. Everybody running pretty much in formation at this stage. Mex has gained 2 places since the start of this race. In a huge tussle is Mex with Man Ray, who is fighting tooth and nail to hang on to P5. It seems that Zotal might have gone into the back of Mex. Oh, Mex has lost. Out. Mex is out of the session. Mex has lost connection. And Zotal will say thank you very much and go straight up to P6 without a fight. It's Wednesday Action Night on board with Zotal, who is way too far behind the rest of the pack. So we'll get this beautiful sweeping overhead helicopter shot to see how the contenders for the race lead are faring. It's Debo Crocodile from Sage Figure of Speech. It's Sage Fig in the Ferrari, the picture of consistency since the start of this season. Medium tires for Debo Crocodile, as is the case seemingly for Sage Figure of Speech. Let's get you onto that tire detail. As you can see, pretty much a full set of medium tires with the exception of Fense down in P12. Everybody thinking the same session. Moteo Mekwa is out of the session. Perhaps they lost connection. I do not know. Hopefully we can get them back and racing pretty soon, because Duke is back for the fight back of the ages. Duke is going to have to fight back in this race, in this session, all the way down from P15. Sage Figure of Speech on the hunt versus Debo Crocodile. This is the battle for the race lead. Lap number 2 of 29. Oh, Sage Fig locks up front left tire into the left-hander there, and Debo Crocodile, that red light flashes on the back of the Red Bull, trying to harvest some power to be able to fight off the fiery Ferrari, which will surely go for a move now in the run towards turn 17. Oh, Debo deploys all of that battery. Mex has rejoined the fray, rejoined the battle, rejoined the race, as we watch now Sage Figure of Speech try to go for a move in towards turn number 17. DRS is open, using up the battery inside line for the Ferrari. Oh, a little bit of a lock up there. Oh, will they make a little bit of contact? Close but no cigar. It is Sage Figure of Speech up into the lead at the end of the second lap of this race. And Debo Crocodile now has the fight of their lives on their hands. Let's catch up with Capoza versus Man Ray. Capoza in towards the inside, towards turn number 1. Man Ray's gonna fight it. I beg your pardon, Donovan Lacka, not Man Ray. He fights this Donovan Lacka. And Capoza tries they might. Huffs and puffs, but cannot snatch that P3 spot from Donovan Lacka. Behind Capoza is Man Ray, who is fighting tooth and nail, trying to catch up to this battle for the podium places. It's Capoza on the warpath versus Donovan Lacka, who is giving nothing away in this third lap of a total 29. Battles aplenty. Battles all over the track. We'll catch up with the lower midfield in a second as we get a sense of whether or not Man Ray can catch up to give Capoza and Donovan Lacka some headaches. Oh, it's Capoza on the outside coming in towards the left-hander. Oh, Capoza kicks up all the smoke, rides the curb almost too heavy. Donovan Lacka might just have another bite at the cherry as far as P3 is concerned, but I'll tell you what, it is not going to be easy, because Man Ray has the front row seats to this battle for the third and final podium spot. Early doors here in Miami. Man Ray trying to catch up, to eke out a little bit of an advantage relative to the likes of Donovan Lacka. Tries their might. It is not quite going to be that close. Debo Crocodile now fighting to reclaim the race lead on the inside of the Ferrari. And it seems that these two are content to keep on swapping positions. Oh, Sage Fig fights it on the exit of the penultimate corner. And Debo Crocodile has to bide their time and hang on to that P2 spot. Early battles, early tussles in this initial stage of the race. Let's catch up now, lower midfield. It's a Haas P7 and 8, as these two teammates might just be working in tandem early doors here. On board we go with Marshy, as Duke, who is fighting for their life down at P13, sets the fastest time of the day. It's going to be a battle to find a way back into the points-paying positions for Duke. He is at this point going to be hoping for a safety car. It may come, it may come. This is a treacherous circuit, which has been known to throw some contenders into the wall. Marshy, half a second behind their teammate, also trying to keep Billy Hendricks at bay, as they now come towards the braking zone and the slower portion of the track. Ooh, seems like Marshy thought about it, but did not want to jeopardize their teammate Zotal, currently running in that P7 spot. Meanwhile, Mex is back in the session. Oh, Mex makes a little bit of contact with Inquali. Now remember, Mex and Duke are in a titanic tussle for the championship. Mex does not want Duke to catch up quickly here, but I'll tell you what, he's lost so much time, and Duke now has DRS. It's a nightmare scenario for the V-Carb driver, who did not want to be stuck behind the Kick Sauber. Now, making their way down the main straight are these contenders. Side by side is Mex, but it seems like the Kick Sauber has a lot of straight line speed, not giving it all to Mex. Oh, the Kick Sauber goes in between the two championship contenders, slowing down Duke in the process. Inquali is going to be Mex's best friend when this lap is over. I'll tell you what, Duke is going to have to fight it out. But coming in towards turn number 1, who will be brave on the brakes? Duke knew that he dare not risk that front wing. Duke still down in P13. This is, of course, an important battle in the context of the championship. Mex is going to want to get those overtakes done. Mex is going to want to, get some daylight between themselves and Duke. But Duke, being Duke, will not make life easier. Still stuck behind the Kick Sauber, looking for an opening, looking for the gap to be able to stake their claim in that fight versus Mex. A little bit of a yellow flag on another portion of the track. There goes Duke on the outside of Inquali, now up towards P12. Meanwhile, Billy Hendricks versus Zoltal. Oh, the Ferrari on the inside. Will they make a little bit of contact? They show some respect and give each other some racing room. It's side-by-side action as they slalom through the twisty section. It's the slow corners coming up. Billy Hendricks still close but no cigar on the back of that half. Zoltal, putting up an almighty defense. And now Marshy is also the bread, essentially. Bill Hendricks is with meat in the middle of a Haas sandwich and has all the work to do here. But Zoltal is not going to make it easy as they send it down towards turn number 17. Ahead of Zoltal, of course, the 86er, who is also in line for one of their best results of the season if they can keep it clean and keep it steady and maintain form here as Mex sets the fastest time of the day. 1 minute 29.914 at the end of the 5th lap of the race. Well, here it is, folks. It's battles are pretty much all over the fray over here. Billy Hendricks, by now, will be well aware that their teammate has been doing an excellent job leading this race with a margin of about 2.6 seconds. And as they race, they're pretty much on the verge of lapping Tindo. Yeah, that is Tindo that you see in front of the Ferrari. A minute and a half behind proceedings. Yeah, Tindo, who just recently came out of the pits, gets the blue flags wait for them. Tindo needs to make way for the faster moving cars. And such figure of speech, managing to find even more of a margin, even more of a gap between themselves and the chasing pack. It's catch up now. The battle for the podium places. Don van Lacker versus Capoza. This battle has been raging on. Don van Lacker on the outside manages to get that done. Capoza looking to fight back as quickly as they possibly can. 7 laps elapsed. If you've just joined us, it's Sid's figure of speech in the lead of this race, fighting it out versus Debo Crocodile. The Ferrari outbreaks themselves. I beg your pardon. The V-Carb outbreaks themselves. Capoza, when slamming into the back of Donovan Lacka, did Capoza compromise their front wing in the process? The answer seemingly is no. Hopefully they did not take a minor damage, because even that can definitely lead to your race being a little bit more difficult than it needs to be. The entirety of the field on those medium compounded tires. Fensate, a couple of laps ago, switched from the hards towards the mediums, and Fundo becomes the first casualty of track limit incursions. It's Capoza now on the outside in towards the left-hander. Donovan Lacka with the inside line, just needed to be braver on the brakes up, but Capoza had the inside line now in towards the right-hander. Capoza fights, and Capoza hangs on to P3. So now it's Donovan Lacka's turn to fight and try to eke out an advantage. Capoza gets the cleaner exit out of 16. Much, much better exit. Mex has been penalized for cutting corners, and that will not do them any good. Debo Crocodile can now, Duke can now relax, knowing, of course, that Mex has to contend with that 3-second time penalty. 8 laps gone. If you've just joined us, what a heck of a race, what a heck of a showcase we have had out here in Miami. We're on board with Billy Hendricks, who is hunting down Zotal, who is still within half a second, give or take, of the 86er. So beautifully done. Oh, the 86er has a huge snap, giving Zotal and Billy Hendricks a golden opportunity here. It's Zotal on the inside. Will Billy take the outside line? Side by side they go, and the 86er fights to maintain track position after that heart-in-mouth moment. Billy Hendricks now has a golden opportunity versus these 2 cars ahead. And as these 3 fight, arriving on the scene will be Mateo Mekwa, who will not need a second bite of the cherry, not need a second invitation to take advantage when the opportunity presents itself. It is 86er Zotal. Oh, on the inside goes Zotal and gets that move done. And through goes the Ferrari as well. The 86er floundering. Oh, but the 86er gets a beautiful exit through that corner. Billy Hendricks fighting it on the inside now. The 86er huffing and puffing, knowing that Mex is arriving on the scene pretty soon to stake their claim on this battle for the upper midfield spot. It is oh so treacherous. The 86er was in the lead of this now 4-car fight, but is losing ground with each and every corner. Billy Hendricks, golden opportunity now, down towards turn number 17, on the inside of Zotal, who could not fight it, try as they might. It seems Zotal has lost a front left wing end plate, compromising, of course, their prospect through some of the more technical corners of this track. Billy Hendricks now in clean air in P6. Zotal has it all to do with the likes of Mateo Mekwa now behind the Haas superstar. 20 laps of racing still to go. Welcome to the 15th race of this all-star season as DRS trains are now starting to form all throughout the track. I'll tell you what, Duke has arrived on the scene to stake their claim on these positions. The 86ers really struggling with the rear, really fighting to maintain rear end stability through some of these corners. As you can see, it was a huge snap from the 86er, which pretty much set the domino effect going for all of those overtakes that we just saw. And now Duke is dumping that battery, trying to send it screaming on the outside of the 86er. Oh, meanwhile, Billy Hendricks, Zotal, and it looks like Mateo Mekwa are still putting on a huge fight over here. Zotal, contact with Mex. Zotal is sideways. Zotal is down to P11, coming off second best, having been deboned, it seemed, through that sequence of corners by Mateo Mekwa, who may fall foul of the stewards, and Zotal will be kicking themselves, having fallen down to P12. At this stage of the race, there's some overtakes in the upper echelons of this race, folks, that we'll catch up with a little bit in a little bit of a while. Sadly, Zotal having now been overtaken by Mfundo. It is Mateo Mekwa as Tindo has retired from the session, bringing out the safety car. Sadly for Sid's figure of speech, they were all the way past the pit lane. Debo Crocodile was perfectly placed to come into the pit. It seems that Man Ray, who had also passed, Billy Hendricks, Duke, everybody taking advantage of this safety car, and the top 4 will be kicking themselves, having known that, of course, you do, if you're new to Formula 1, under the safety car, you lose less time coming into the pits because, of course, racing is neutralized. The drivers have to slow down significantly, and they're not pushing. So if you come in to the pits at that time, of course, it is much, much more advantageous. So the top 4 will really not be happy with that at all. Zotal has an opportunity here, hopefully, to fight their way back into the reckoning. Did they change wing? Yeah, Zotal changed the front wing. So perhaps it was a combination, of course, of racing and, of course, that compromised wing, which really cost Zotal dearly in that battle. Under the safety car, it is Sid's figure of speech still in the lead of this race, trying not to fall foul. Of course, if you drive too fast under the safety car, then you could find yourself penalized significantly. So Sid's figure of speech is really trying to get to the pits as fast as they possibly can. Yeah, slams the brakes there in towards 17, trying not to lose too much time, knowing, of course, that everybody will be inching closer and closer. Race leading Sid's figure of speech should be getting followed into the pits by the likes of Jonathan Laka, Caboza, and Man Ray. Tindo says, I am far too poor in this game. That we commiserate with Tindo there. And as they come out of the pits, it seems, despite that early safety car, they had enough of a margin to come out ahead of their competitors. Donathan Lacka also on the hards, as is Debo Crocodile, who comes out ahead of Donathan Lacka, having taken advantage to pit at the perfect moment. Debo Crocodile at some point was down to P3, so that safety car and that undercut effectively, putting Debo back at an advantage relative to Donathan Lacka. So after the sequence of pit stops, sadly, Tindo having crashed out, Sage Figure of Speech in P1, Debo Crocodile second, Donathan Lacka third. Kaboza in with a shot once again for that podium, currently P4. Man Ray fifth. Billy Hendricks is currently sixth. Moteo Mekwa, with that time penalty, is seventh. Watch out for Duke Takar, having found their way back into the fray of this race. No penalties, and with everybody bunched up behind the safety car, golden opportunity for the superstar Duke to do something special here as far as the upper echelons of this field are concerned. So Lancelot says it's time for Duke to plow through the field, expecting Duke to be surgical, is Sir Lancelot. Will that be the case? I'd love to hear your thoughts if you agree with those assertions. And pretty soon, hopefully, we'll get the word from Race Control that the safety car will be in. But it seems it will not quite be at the end of lap number 11. So we still have a significant amount of laps to go. And a lot of racing action, especially with everybody having now been bunched up behind the safety car. First safety car of the day, hopefully the last. Less than half of the race distance gone. And with everybody on a brand spanking set of hard tires. Even Stevens as far as strategy is concerned. Let's see what the likes of Mex and Duke can do from the midfield. What a day for Debo Crocodile. P2. Solid season for the Red Bull superstar. Similar case for the ever consistent Sage Figure of Speech. No strangers to the podium this year. Sadly, still no word from Race Control regarding the fate of the safety car. So it seems lap number 13 will still be behind the safety car. Well, I spoke too soon. Race Control says the safety car is in at the end of this lap, and Sage Fig will dictate the pace. Look at that. Debo Crocodile is braced for this race to get back underway. Sage Fig sends it. Debo follows suit. Now in the run towards turn number 1. This is Donathan Lacka, currently P3. Everybody fighting for space at this time. Donovan Laka almost went for an audacious move there through the second and the third corners. Kaboza very, very close to the back of the Williams Superstar at this present moment. Of course, as things currently stand, it is a matter of taking calculated risk, if you will. If you dare. Duke now in PA goal. Ferrari. Billy Hendricks has a huge moment. Sends it into the wall. And a couple of cars crash into Billy Hendricks, bringing out another safety car. Billy Hendricks lost it, and a couple of cars got totaled, crashing into him. Was Zotal unlucky once again? Did Zotal go careening into Billy Hendricks as one of those victims of that huge carnage? Seems that their wing is still intact. I'll tell you what, it all was popping off behind the likes of Kaboza. They weren't there. Just want to see who might have lost their wing going crashing into Billy Hendricks. Yeah, they went into the wall. And I do wonder if anyone else might have made contact. It seems that for the most part, those front wings are intact. I'll tell you what, Duke and Mex have been the big winners of that carnage. We're under the safety car again. And these two championship contenders now running P5 and 7. It was P6 for Duke a second ago. I wonder, yeah, Man Ray perhaps is moving too slowly, allowing Duke to claim that P5 spot. We will have a couple more laps behind the safety car now. So, with Billy Hendricks being the latest casualty, sadly. Behind Kaboza, it is Duke now, up to 5th. Man Ray is in 6th. Moteo Mekwa, Mex is 7th. Marcy 8th. The 86er is 9th. And Fundo is currently 10th. And Crowley is 11th. Fensei 12th. Zotal is currently P13. Well. Seems Zotal Fensei might have come off second best there. What might have happened to Billy Hendricks there? Don't know. Perhaps you could let us know. We do commiserate with you and Tindo. 2 casualties of this race. It started off seeming like, we weren't going to have too hectic an intervention as far as the safety car is concerned. And, it seems that Tindo's DNF might just have begun some sort of domino effect. And I'll tell you what, with everyone being so close together behind the safety car, when the intensity of the race restart gets back underway, in the narrower sections of this track, the risk is elevated even more. Wrong gear, says Billy Hendricks, which sent them tumbling out of this race. Well, these safety cars have pretty much taken us to the halfway mark of this race. Kaboza almost standing up to the back of Donovan Laka. Fingers crossed that we've seen the last of these safety cars. Championship leading Duke is going to be giving Kaboza some more waking nightmares when the race restarts. Well, everybody is pretty much bunched up in the same part of the track. So we're hoping that race control will give the word that the safety car will be in, hopefully at the end of this lap. And as we say that, there we go. Duke losing a lot of ground on the back of a Caboza, with everyone weaving to the left and the right, slaloming. Trying to work those tires into decent nick as far as temperature is concerned. Sage figure of speech once again will dictate the pace. Did a great job, did Sage, at the most recent restart. Let's see now how they will fare. They have absolutely sent it once again. It is Sage from Debo, from Donovan Laka. Caboza trying to keep Duke at bay, and it seems like Caboza has stolen the march on the championship leading Duke by a factor of about a second and a half. So Duke caught napping at the restart. It's running line astern from P1 down to P10. A couple of moves down in the low order. Fence is out of the session, and another safety car. Fence and Zotal had a huge crash. As you can see, Zotal's wing is absolutely totaled. And before completing the 16th lap, the safety car is out again. Well. Sage Fig did not even get a chance to consolidate that restart. It's the third successive safety car in short order. We've barely had racing since Tindo sadly crashed out. Billy Hendricks was next up, and just as we came back into it, it all just went sideways. The 86er must pit for medium, so says the Nucho, advising their teammate there. 86er, now Mercedes' only hope in this race. Gallo Latsang Kagawati, the 86er, an award-winning creative outside of the racetrack. One of South Africa's most accomplished creative minds. Some of the best advertising campaigns that you see on your screens, on your billboards, on your radios have come, well, courtesy of this man's leadership of creative teams. Well, seems the 86er taking your advice, Nucho. Not wasting any time, straight into the pits. And this 17th lap, and happy to cede track position for those medium tires. And Quali following suit. Zotal, of course, had no choice but to pit. Having had that huge moment, which brought out the safety car. This is Zotal serving their time penalty for that huge collision, which sent Fence out of this race. And now they have served that 10-second penalty. Zotal fits a brand new set of mediums, and the team at Haas has also fitted another front wing for Zotal. So Zotal will fight for his life and fight for points from the vantage point of P12. Just 12 contenders remaining. Fingers crossed that these are the contenders that will make it to the checkered flag, and that we've seen the last. What is going on with Sage Figure of Speech? How in the world did they lose 4 positions? Were they moving too slowly behind the safety car? What in the world is going on? Sage Fig was in control, command of this race. Now down to P4. What is going on? Yeah, perhaps not moving fast enough. Yeah. Left the track by mistake, says Billy Hendricks. 2 more DNFs and Quali gets into the points. So Lancelot at this moment is, lighting candles, it seems. Hoping for more crashes. I'll tell you what, Selby Songo, for those of you who have been longer term viewers of this league, Selby Songo had a tendency to hope and predict that more and more people will crash. So today it seems to be Sir Life a lot. Debo Crocodile now in the lead of this race. It seems that Sid's figure of speech off camera might have made a mistake that sent them tumbling down to P4. That is not good news for the man who, up until this point, has been really the picture of consistency as far as race results were concerned. And with the likes of Mex and Duke being so far down the order earlier today, he had a golden opportunity, really, to go and consolidate a possible race win. But now, well, Duke is right on their tail. We're on board with the Nigerian superstar, whose season of consistency has put him in the crosshairs of the likes of Don Ravico, who has not been shy in the comment section to say that you're doing well, Duke, but I will soon be back. Duke now has a golden opportunity in these final 11 or so laps to stake their claim for a race win. Sidgefig will not make life easy, neither will Kaboza and Donovan Laka, both of whom seem to really enjoy racing around the circuit. Zotal made it to the back of the pack. Fresh mediums, tire offset, softer tire. Golden opportunity for Zotal has served that 10-second time penalty. Let's see how that works out. Safety car is in at the end of this lap. It'll be Debo Crocodile this time, who will send us racing once again. Lap number 18, soon to be 19 of this race. There they go down the back straight, weaving to the left and to the right, trying to get those tires into temperature. When will Debo send it? Will he be able to catch the likes of Donovan Laka off guard? That is the question. On board with Donovan Laka. Down the straight. Down the main start-finish straight goes Debo Crocodile, sending it, not catching anyone off guard, seemingly in towards turn number 1. Kaboza trying to keep Donovan Laka at bay. Meanwhile, Stitch figure of speech huffing and puffing behind, knowing, of course, that Duke is not going to let this chance slip away. The top 5 running in formation. Man Ray putting some pressure on Duke themselves. Duke is trying to get a save versus the likes of Stitch figure of speech. But Man Ray trying to make their life easier, but Man Ray goes wide, loses ground to Duke over there as they're still running in formation. On board we go with the championship leader. Front row seats to the battle for the race win here in Miami. We will soon have the final 10 laps of this race into the braking zone. Stitch figure of speech has the inside line, maintains advantage, keeps Duke at bay, but Duke has the inside through the right-hander, and Fundo is out of the session somehow. Oh no, Duke at a moment into the wall. The championship leader fumbles. The championship leader is down to P12. A huge fumble, perhaps having made contact with Stitch figure of speech, who will be breathing a huge sigh of relief, having banished Duke down towards the doldrums of P12. It's a huge moment in the context of the race, in the context of the championship, because this man, Mex, has an opportunity to bridge that gap at the front of the standings, catching back up to the battle for the lead of this race. Debo Crocodile, less than half a second separating them, and Donovan Laka, and Kapoza. It's a almighty fight, a titanic tussle for the race win over here. Duke has been eliminated, seemingly, from this fight for the race win. A lot of racing still to go. Duke is in the pits, presumably for a change of wing, but we will just stay in touch with the action at the front of this pack here. Stitch figure of speech huffing and puffing, trying to make sure he does not lose any ground here as far as the battle for this race win is concerned. On board we go with the Scarlet Red Ferrari as Kapoza tries to make sure that they stay tucked in Donovan Laka's slipstream so as to not lose any ground. Mex has overtaken Man Ray. Now those two are having a huge fight. It's Mex on the outside, but it seems like Man Ray is giving up a huge fight over here, as it looks like the Ferrari ahead is also putting on a huge fight we're watching. Oh my gosh, it is so much to be paying attention of. It's nose to tail as they make a little bit of contact. does the Ferrari and the V-Carb ahead. Caboza giving nothing away, leaving nothing to chance as this leading, it seems like, I was going to say sextet is 6 drivers. What do you say when it's 7 drivers leading the fray? Here comes Devo Crocodile on the outside and towards turn 17. Donathan Laka is in the lead of the race now at the inside line, and Caboza is up to P2. Would you look at that? It's all off and popping. Six Figure of Speech is watching the battles, but can he take part? He breaks lead on the inside of Fig into P3. Can he hang on? He tries, he huffs and puffs. He hangs on by the skin of his teeth. Six Figure of Speech now to P3. Devo Crocodile trying to give a little bit of racing room and tucks into P4. In the space of a couple of corners, Devo goes from the race lead down to P4, and Mex is now looking to stake their claim on Devo's spot, but Mex goes wide. That might see Man Ray come back into the fray here in this 21st lap of a total 29. It is all off and popping in these final laps around the Miami Street Circuit. Welcome if you've just joined us. This conclusion after the safety car is looking to be an absolute cracker. I'll tell you what, it's Caboza now in line for a possible memorable race win if you can keep this together and challenge Donathan Laka down in this race as they look to tussle in these final laps towards the checkered flag. Caboza behind him, of course, is Six Figure of Speech. Caboza gets a beautiful exit, creates a little bit of daylight between themselves and Six Figure of Speech. It's Caboza on the outside. It's Caboza side by side. It's Caboza in the lead of this race from Donathan Laka. Now, as they're about to begin the 22nd lap around the Miami Street Circuit, Caboza looking racy, looking comfortable, looking in control as they now begin the 22nd lap around the Miami International Circuit. Six Figure of Speech teetering on the brink of losing out to DRS. Moteo Mekwa on the outside of Devo Crocodile. No, it looks like Man Ray who was looking to fight Moteo Mekwa. Oh, it's contact, it's carnage in the lower midfield here as the likes of the 86ers look at the challenge. The likes of Man Ray and Marshy. Bit of contact. Duke is 3 seconds quicker right now, says Christopher Crash and Kize. Oh, the 86er makes contact with Man Ray over there. It's all off and popping as Duke sets the fastest time of the day that we have seen. A 1 minute 28.708. Duke in anger is driving, trying to recover a semblance of momentum here. It's going to be very, very difficult to find his way back into the points. It's the 86er on the outside of Man Ray, inside line into the braking zone. Will the 86er dive? He will! Oh, it's a switch by the 86er who gets the inside line, which will turn it to the... Oh! It looks like Man Ray hit the 86er trying to get back onto the track. The 86er will pay not too much attention to that, sadly for Man Ray, now having to fight all the way down from P10. Back to the front we go. Sig Fig, Donathan Laka, Caboza, the protagonist for the race win in this soon-to-be 23rd lap around the Miami Street Circuit. Welcome to an absolutely fantastic final part of this race. Oh, a couple of twitches here as these hard tires perhaps start to complain a little bit. But I'll tell you what, they have not done a lot of racing, have these hard tires, because they've spent most of their life under the safety car. Oh, wide. Donathan Laka through turn number 1. Six Figure of Speech can smell blood. Six Figure of Speech looking for an opening, looking for the tiniest opportunity to go for that move. Mex versus Devo Crocodile. It's Devo on the inside. It's Mex. Oh, slaloming through these corners, and Mex seemingly got that move done. I say if that's speaking too soon. Devo says, no, you're going to have to go around the outside. And Devo hangs on to P4 as these huge contenders are giving it a huge go. Mex has used up pretty much all of his battery, going side by side with Devo Crocodile, who has the line, who has the speed, but loses ground down towards the braking zone and has to concede that P4 spot. Meanwhile, Marshy is going for it, as well as Zotal versus the likes of the 86er. Oh, breathless action, the 86er versus Zotal through the tight section of the track. Zotal has to concede and tuck behind the 86er here. So it is all off and popping in these final stages of this race. Back towards the front we go. It's Six Figure of Speech with the front row seats to the battle for the race win. He is, of course, a contender himself. Oh, Sage Frig almost outbreaks himself there in towards turn 17. Had to line it up very carefully there. Loses about a tenth to Donovan Laka ahead. Let's hop on board with Donovan Laka. As you can see on that steering wheel, they've used up so much of their battery power, trying to make sure that Kaboza does not go galloping away. And as you can see there, it seems Sage Figure of Speech fighting to keep the rear of those tires. But he's still doing a sensational job. Still about hovering at about, 7/10 of a second now. So, yeah. Through Sector 1, seemingly not the best of scenarios as far as Sage Fig's grip levels are concerned. Everybody having used up so much of their battery power over here in these final stages. Max is 2.7 seconds and closing on the front three. Sadly for Max, that time penalty will cost them dearly. Debo Crocodile and Zotal will have something to say about that. It seems Marshy and the 86er having a huge tussle. The 86er on the same stretch of track that sent Man Ray tumbling down the order. Yeah, Marshy gets the move done. The 86er on those fresher mediums, has to contend now with P8. Still could find himself in the points, which would be a decent day for the 86er. Get back up to the business end of this race, the sharp end of the grid. Oh, look at that. In towards the inside, Sage Figure of Speech got that move done, and now Sage Fig has Kaboza in their sights. With 5 laps of racing to go, including this one. The top contenders have begun the 25th lap. Donovan Laka was pipped there and lost that P2 spot, but a sensationally executed race for them, with work to do towards the end of proceedings here. Top 3 running in formation. Kaboza, look at that yellow bar in the steering wheel. He's done very, very well to maintain a decent level of their battery power. And Kaboza has a golden opportunity here to stretch the legs, knowing, of course, as I say that, Sage Figure of Speech has also been very, very astute as far as managing their own battery power is concerned. Kaboza is always excellent coming out of turn 16 and down this back straight. Sage Figure of Speech, will they go in the attack now? The answer is yes. Side by side, and the cleanest of overtakes there. As Sage Fig is our new race leader. Oh, spoke too soon. Side by side they go now. Oh, beautifully done, giving each other racing room through these fast corners to begin the 26th lap of this race. Fighting oh so close are Kaboza and Sage Figure of Speech, as they now have a little bit of breathing room because Donovan Laka has fallen behind this leading pair by a factor of about 1.2 seconds. Donovan Laka better be careful not to fall into the clutches of Moteo Mekwa, aka Mex, behind. But for now, we will see whether or not Sage Fig can just make sure that this gap is just tightened and tightened. Billy Hendricks says Kaboza's straight line speed needs to be subject of an academic inquiry, needs to be studied. Kaboza, is he much like Spizozo, the Sultan of straight line speed? Oh, seemingly so, according to Billy Hendricks. Now into the slower corners. Let's see how these two fare. Sage Fig, will they be content just to stay tucked in Kaboza's slipstream? Moteo Meko gets another 3-second time penalty. Seeing them, that's going to be 6-second worth of time penalties for Moteo Mekwa, aka Mex. And that's very good news for the championship leader, Duke. So some unforced errors costing Mex dearly, as the Sage Figure of Speech goes on the inside, overtakes Kaboza in the exact same fashion as the previous lap. Will Kaboza fight as hard as they did? Seemingly not quite close enough to go for it in this instance. Kaboza, as Sage Fig harvests some battery power, Kaboza contented to stay in the slipstream of the Ferrari ahead. Capoza, much better exits through these initial couple of corners relative to Six Figure Speech, who seems to be sliding there through those initial couple of corners. Capoza looking very, very comfortable at the tail end of this race, but through this left-hander, Stitch Fig has always been the quicker contender. Now, Capoza, careful not to lose too much ground. He does have DRS, this Capoza, is careful not to lose too much of their battery power, and as these two fight, Donovan Laka is back in the fray. Capoza, happy perhaps to leave Sig Fig in the lead of this race, knowing that the final lap will be last chance saloon for that overtake for the race win. Capoza had a slight twitch there through those corners before they make their way now towards turn number 16. And a corner that Capoza really, really enjoys. I'll tell you what, Capoza better be careful. Their teammate Mateo Mekwa now within touching distance, and Zoltal, beg your pardon, Debo Crocodile is not too far behind. Yeah, work to do for Capoza. Donovan Laka could almost see the beads of sweat trickling out of the Capoza's helmet. So close was the Williams driver to the back of that V-cart. Oof, trying not to outbreak himself. Donovan Laka, tires at this particular point in time will be screaming. Donovan Laka struggling to maintain control. Trying to, of course, to keep that rear as stable as they possibly can. This is the penultimate lap. This is going to be the headline writing lap that we will soon see. The headline being, of course, who will claim the win out here in Miami. It has been sensationally dramatic, sensationally entertaining. Safety cars, battles, crashes. Yeah, these drivers have really served up a feast of entertainment. On board we will go now with Mateo Mekwa. A four-way fight extensively to see who can cross the line first. Mateo Mekwa, aka Mex, will have a time penalty to contend with, which will send them tumbling down the order. So work to do for them. Capoza content to allow Sage Fig to keep the lead. All Capoza needs to do now is make sure that he's close enough to be able to take full advantage now in this final lap of the race. Capoza has done what he needs to do. Can he keep composure? Can he minimize the mistakes, which would give Stitch Figure of Speech all the encouragement to be able to claim the win over here in Miami. Capoza has an opportunity. Stitch Figure of Speech seemingly leaving the door open, wide open for Capoza to go for it, but Capoza not taking the bait. Capoza is going to line it up down that stretch in between turns 16 and 17. Stitch Figure of Speech tries to create a gap so as to not give Capoza the easiest of runs, but Capoza trying to stay in touch here, knowing, of course, that Donovan Laka also has a golden opportunity to do something special. On board we go now with the Williams Superstar, currently in P3. 0.2 of a second separating P1 from P2 from P3 as they came into that slower corner. But now, of course, that gap is a little bit different. Capoza lining up. He needs to be inch perfect, as does Donovan Laka. Into turn 16 they go. Capoza usually gets a clean exit. Stitch Figure of Speech has a beautiful exit out of 16. And now it's going to be a DRS and battery fight as Capoza, did he perhaps not make the best of decisions? He's going to have DRS. He's using his DRS. On the inside goes Capoza. They made contact. Stitch Figure of Speech fighting tooth and nail. Here comes Donovan Laka. Capoza into the lead at the death. Stitch Fig will fight it. And towards the line, Capoza steals it at the death. And Donovan Laka comes across the line in P3 at the final lap of the race. And Debo Crocodile will come home in P4. But what a battle that was. Capoza wins in Miami. Stitch Fig second, Donovan Laka third, Debo fourth, Zotal comes home in P5. Beautifully done considering where they were earlier. Mex finishes sixth with that penalty. The 86er seventh, Marshy eighth, Duke finishes ninth, having been all the way at the back in Quali 10th, Manray 11th, and Findell the ghost of Infundo will come across the line in P8. What a race that was. Left by teammates with no space, said Billy in the comments section. What a beautifully entertaining race that was. Caboza at the death in the final lap had to be inch perfect, but got it done in the end. Sig Fig was absolutely mighty coming out of that final corner. As Crash says, it wasn't Sidge's corner. He shouldn't have closed it. Sidge was trying to close the corner there, but in the end, Caboza got it done. And beautifully so, when all was said and done. And would you look at that? Joining us in the comment section. Congratulations. How was that from your vantage point? Beautifully done towards the end. Caboza seemingly, struggling to hear them. Perhaps headphone issues? Congratulations. Shout out to Mex for the setup. Of course, they were quite unfortunate. I don't know if it was a connection issue. Both Mex and Duke losing out early doors in this race. But you did mention that first stint was quite difficult. At which was it basically the safety car that had you believing? At the end of the last safety car, was that when you kind of knew that this is a golden opportunity, or did it come later than that, where you felt confident that this win was really possible? Yeah, and so this race, or rather this result, it catapults you from P7. I think you'll go just behind Devo Crocodile. It'll take you to P5. So you'll leapfrog Loveness and Tiago with this result. You mentioned a bit of a lack of practice. How are you feeling around Austria, which is the next one? And do you think schedule-wise you might be able to put in the hours in the simulator? Ah, yeah, yeah. All right, man. Nah, that was beautifully executed. After that safety car went in, some of those battles that we saw you involved in, and even in that first stint, I think, yeah, you put on a hell of a showcase there. So, congratulations to Pitibot Austria, but we will see you in the Netherlands the week after that. And yeah, all the best for the rest of the championship. That was Caboza, folks, your race winner, the only driver to join us here in the comments section. We'll be seeing them in the Netherlands in a couple of weeks' time. But what a sensationally entertaining race that ended up being. Thank you to Debo Crocodile, Pongani in the comment section, Billy Hendricks, as well as Crash, and the Nucho, aka Peace, in the comment section. Sir Lancelot was here as well, as was Jittery Citizens, Limmy Seaway, and Don Rabico. Commiserations to everyone who crashed out, and thank you for choosing BrakeAway Racing League. We will see you next time, 8 p.m. Central African time on a Wednesday. Thank you, everybody, and good night.